This week on Oregon News, there's a cure for hepatitis C. We'll take a look at just how much it costs. Plus, we investigate how medical marijuana dispensaries in the area are regulated. And trouble for Lane Community College? Enrollment is taking a hit. We break it down for you right here on Oregon News.
Good afternoon, and thanks for joining us for Oregon News. I'm Meredith Ratto.
And I'm Rick Lindfors.
The FDA has proposed new regulations for e-cigarettes. The new rules include additional warning labels, banning sales to minors, and requiring FDA approval for new products. While some wonder if measures are too heavy-handed, public health experts say it's a move in the right direction. Anti-smoking groups and members of Congress hope regulations will help curb public health consequences and reduce sales to youth. It's election season, and candidates are on the trail searching for votes and campaign money. Recently, the Supreme Court removed limits on how much contributors can donate to campaigns. Rick Lindfors follows the money.
I need to spend all my time getting people to vote.
Tim Carr is one of several candidates running for the Republican nomination for governor in May's primary election. Although he is focusing on getting people to the polls, he will need money to run a successful campaign. In Oregon, there are no limits on how much money a person can give to a candidate for state office, meaning the sky is the limit for Carr and other candidates wanting to run for governor. Now, more money could be coming into this year's House and Senate elections. A recent Supreme Court decision removed the limit on how much money a person can give in federal elections. A person can only give $2,600 to a candidate for federal office, but can now give money to more candidates than before. This means Oregon voters could see more money come in from out of state to fund Oregon candidates for the House of Representatives and Senate.
For example, if there is a challenger, which there certainly will be to Jeff Merkley, he or she, whoever wins the Republican primary, is going to get perhaps a lot more money from out of state than that person would have before this decision.
More money will allow candidates to advertise more on the trail to the nation's capital. While candidates from all parties can take advantage of this ruling, better-funded campaigns have a better chance of standing over lesser-known opponents.
Clearly, money talks, and money is a dominant factor in campaigns.
If you want to follow the money in your federal elections, visit the Federal Elections Commission website. For state and local elections, go to the Oregon Secretary of State website and click on the Elections tab. Then click the OrStar button. In Eugene, Rick Lindfors, Oregon News.
Thanks, Rick. The deadline to register to vote is April 29th, and the Oregon primary elections will be held on May 20th. U.S. District Judge Michael Mache heard opening arguments in an appeal to Oregon's ban on same-sex marriage this week in Eugene. Mache, who is openly gay, did not rule in the case. He heard arguments from lawyers representing two same-sex couples in the state of Oregon, both which support overturning the marriage ban. On May 14th, we will hear arguments opposing same-sex marriage from lawyers representing the National Organization for Marriage.
There is a new drug on the market that promises to cure hepatitis C. That is welcome news because for a long time, there has not been an effective way to treat it. For years, researchers have been looking for a solution to the deadly liver disease. Doctors finally have one, a drug called Sovaldi. Before the new drug was available, patients infected with hepatitis C had to be treated for at least 6 months with injected drugs with side effects including flu-like symptoms, rashes, and anemia. The downside of this new drug? It's very expensive. Representatives from the HIV Alliance, which works with Hep C patients, say one pill costs $1,000 and a full 12-week treatment would cost $84,000. The HIV Alliance does not have the resources to treat the nearly 12,000 clients with Hep C in the Southern Oregon region, which includes Lane County. HIV Alliance Prevention Manager Paul Homan says the new drug is still a positive step forward.
I think it's great that, this has been developed, and let's figure out a great way to get it to the people who need it. And I think everybody has their piece to do, and so researchers and scientists have done their piece, or chemists have done their piece. Now it's up to us to kind of help them figure out how best to get it to that population.
The HIV Alliance is in the process of drafting a grant requesting the new Hep C drug Sovaldi along with additional funds. The Cover Oregon website, which was supposed to allow Oregonians to sign up for insurance coverage through the Affordable Care Act, has been a disappointment, to say the least. $248 million, and 6 months after it was supposed to go online, it still doesn't work, and it looks like it's never going to. The Cover Oregon board is meeting right now to make a decision over whether to scrap the website. To repair it would cost an estimated $75 million. To scrap it and join the federal website would only cost $4 to $6 million. In related news, there aren't enough doctors to treat the newly insured patients in Lane County. Local officials are working with different medical groups to try and solve the problem. Galen Etlin reports.
The halls of this clinic in West Eugene are quiet for now, but come summer, Lane County hopes to turn these empty medical offices you see here to your left into a new health clinic for low-income patients. The insurance company, Trillium Community Health Plan, is pulling out all the stops to combat the primary care physician shortage in Lane County. Following the influx of Oregon Health Plan members signed up through Cover Oregon, nearly 11,000 remain unassigned to a care provider. But Trillium is giving $1 million to Lane County to turn these empty offices into a medical clinic, well enough equipped to service 6,000 new OHP members, a donation Trillium says is worth the investment.
Our goal is that we would take good care of our Oregon Health Plan members. By doing that and by investing in prevention, that we would create a healthier community, and that's going to benefit all of us.
The new West Eugene clinic will be located on the northwest corner of 17th and Chambers, easily accessible by bus. It will be Lane County's 5th community health center, filling a gap on the west side of Eugene, where officials say many unassigned OHP members live. Trillium and Lane County aim to have the clinic open for business sometime this summer in order to give as many patients as possible the care they need.
Our community believes in the fact that people need health care and that everyone deserves some form of health care. How that's manifested, I think we have some different opinions on that, but as long as we hold true to that common belief, I think we're going to come out on top.
If you're wondering how you might qualify for Oregon Health Plan benefits, you can contact a Trillium agent for support. I'm Galen Etlin reporting for Oregon News.
The future of medical marijuana dispensaries is being decided around Oregon. The legislature has passed a bill that makes it legal for dispensaries to operate in Oregon. But there are still questions and concerns surrounding how these dispensaries are going to be regulated. Katie Yovan has the story.
Cities and counties were given a chance to adopt a moratorium, which would ban medical marijuana dispensaries for up to a year. A compromise bill was signed off, giving local jurisdictions until the 1st of May to put a moratorium in the areas, or else lose the opportunity to self-regulate local dispensaries. Lane County Commissioner Jay Bozovich explains that if Lane County had passed the moratorium, Lane County would be in charge of adding future regulations to its dispensaries. He is concerned specifically with what he says are lax restrictions over dispensary locations.
It can be in any commercial, industrial, or mixed-use zone. And mixed-use zones means it could be basically in a residential area or very close to a residential area. The other was that the only distance restrictions were 1,000 feet from a school or 1,000 feet from another dispensary.
Lane County voted against the moratorium. This will allow people to continue running their dispensaries in Eugene, as well as allow new applicants to open their own, if approved by the state. Chelsea Hopkins at Greenerside Dispensary says she is glad the moratorium didn't pass.
There's so many different directions that a medical marijuana dispensary is helpful in. Not only does it allow legitimate sick and suffering individuals from having to go to the black market to get their medicine, it gives them a safe place that's regulated where they know exactly where their medicine's coming from.
The state enforces consistent regulation on these dispensaries to make sure everything is safe. Hopkins says her facility has to test its medicine for mold, mildew, and pesticides, as well as make sure their security system records 24 hours a day. Bozovich says the county depends on the state for this regulation.
We're not going to be doing any regulation of them. So that's basically we've said, state, you preempted us really from doing anything, and we're just going to let the state regulate it.
Bozovich expects more dispensaries to pop up in the area over the next year due to the high number of dispensary applications submitted to the state.
While medical marijuana is legal for those with a permit in Oregon, recreational marijuana use is not. Still to come on Oregon News, we'll take a look at the dive in enrollment at Lane Community College. And Graduate teaching fellows at the University of Oregon are not happy. We'll tell you why. Those stories after the break.
When you throw away money on wasted electricity, you're throwing away everything you could have bought with it. Saving energy saves you money. Learn more at energysavers.gov.
The atmosphere at Lane Community College is tense these days. President Mary Spildy has announced a budget deficit between $10 and $12 million. A lot of faculty members fear losing their jobs. Rebecca Stuckerman has the story.
The college and the faculty union have been bargaining for months, and the implications of the budget deficit only add to this unstable situation. Enrollment at Lane declined by 30% over the last 4 years. Nothing unusual, says President Spildy, just the classic economic cycle for community colleges.
We expect that our enrollment is going to go back to pre-recession levels.
Spildy regrets the state's growing disinvestment in community colleges.
Over the past few years, our state investment has gone down to 27% of our budget, from about 47% of our budgets. To make up some of that money, our tuition has gone up from about 22% of our budget in 2001 to now 42% of our budget.
A decline in enrollment therefore quickly leads to significant budget deficits. To address the shortage, Lane has limited materials and supply spending, cancelled low enrollment class sections, reduced some part-time faculty, and restricted vacancies. If decline continues, some full-time positions will have to be cut. This worries faculty members like Kathleen Caprario, part-time instructor in the art department.
I think everyone feels vulnerable because when there's that kind of talk in the air, it breeds a sense of insecurity.
College ranking organizations list LCC among the top community colleges in the nation, but negative press never goes unnoticed.
If you're a parent and you read that, you're going to think once or twice about selecting the college for your child.
College administrators will decide in the next couple of weeks how to best address the financial upset. They have scheduled a special meeting of the LCC board on April 28th to consider proposed cuts.
But the implications of declining enrollment don't just end with a budget deficit. Rebecca Stuckerman is here in the studio with us. Rebecca, you looked at the story from a different perspective. What exactly did you find?
Thank you, Rick. Well, what I noticed is that with all the talking about numbers, human issues are really often neglected. And this is especially important when talking about a community college like Lane, which is comprised of a very different student population than, for example, the University of Oregon. Many students at Lane have fewer resources and balance a difficult family, work, and school schedule. The programs at Lane, therefore, are really student-centered. And as one instructor told me, LCC really makes a difference in students' lives.
The budget deficit will ultimately affect Lane's support system and thus the core of its program. President Spildy thinks the state should invest more because the college forms such an integral part of the community.
When you think about the students that we serve, the most in need, the poorest, the most first generation, it seems like we should be spending more on the least likely to succeed.
The diversity of Lane's student body is both its biggest strength and weakness.
It's a very diverse kind of campus. Like there's all different kinds of age groups and learning levels and all different kinds of classes. Like you learn a lot from people that you might not expect to learn things from. And I think that that's really cool.
Teaching in this environment is challenging, but it is what makes the job more appealing to instructors like Caprario, who is also advisor, counselor, and confidant. Caprario has advised students with histories of drug abuse and sexual assault.
I actually have contributed toward changing people's lives and saving people's lives. You know, helping women, giving them the guidance when I see someone come in who's been obviously battered, making sure that she gets the help. And I've had more than one woman, and it gets me very emotional, come back to me and tell me how my talking with them and getting them to the counselor got them out of an abusive relationship and saved their lives. Wow. So what we do here is so important.
So ultimately, it's not an issue of numbers, it's an issue of people.
It's always the people who make the difference, isn't it? Thank you for that report, Rebecca. There is some good news coming out of LCC. If you're short on cash but need your teeth cleaned or sealed, students at Lane Community College have a deal for you. They are looking for patients. Julian Massenberg reports.
The Lane Dental Clinic recently opened their brand new facility at 24th and Willamette Street. The clinic offers a wide variety of dental services, including oral screening, x-rays, cleaning, and restorative services. There are 2 different programs available for students in the program. There's a 1-year dental assisting program and a 2-year dental hygiene program. The dental assisting program focuses on clinical side chair skills and prepares students for employment in all areas of dental assisting. The dental hygiene program prepares students for preventative, therapeutic, restorative, and educational interventions to promote optimal oral hygiene. Students who are enrolled in the programs provide care under provision of staff and local dentists. The patient pool is the community. The Lane Dental Clinic is open to anyone in need of dental care.
In fact, we're always looking for patients to come. Since we've moved over to this Willamette Street area, although we're more in the heart of Eugene, we've actually kind of lost our patient base because people don't know where we are.
No insurance? No problem. The clinic is seeking patients who fit this criterion.
That's the ideal patient because our costs are very low. They can do, right now our fee schedule is $40 for your cleaning. So they can come in and they can get evaluated, and what might cost them over $1,000 in an office, they can actually do it here for $40.
Features of the new clinic include a new radiology suite and additional x-ray rooms to speed up patient care. Jessica Ostrander is currently in her 2nd year as a dental hygiene student. Here's her word of advice for aspiring dental hygienists.
Unless you've been through the program, nobody can know how intense it is. It's really time demanding. You have to know your stuff and be really committed.
From Eugene, I'm Julian Massenberg with Oregon News.
Now, Julian says Lane Dental Clinic's hours vary, but they can be found on the LCC website.
And at the U of O, construction is underway for the renovation of the Herb Memorial Union. Students will get an opportunity to say goodbye in a pretty creative way. Julian Massenberg has more.
Out with the old, in with the new. The Herb Memorial Union renovation is underway, but much of the building is still open. But that will all change next Thursday when EMU administrators hand the keys over to the contractors. The 1970s portion of the building will be mostly off limits when the construction ramps up.
Students have been experiencing for generations all kinds of programs and activities and experiences within this building. And so we thought it would be good to give people an opportunity, students especially, to do things that they hadn't done before.
Laura Morris, the program director of the Cultural Forum, has already moved with many other programs to MacArthur Court, now called EMU South. But because the entire building isn't getting torn down, only certain programs have to move. Anything housed in the 1970s portion of the EMU, the part with the skylight area, is moving before the end of the year. Morris and a committee made up of members of other EMU programs have been planning an event to say goodbye to the 1970s portion of the building called the Sledgehammer Sayonara. The event will actually give students a chance to take sledgehammers to designated areas of the construction zone and also allow people to spray paint anything inside of what is being called the fun zone.
You could black out a window. You could run along the concourse and just spray paint a big snake or something. You know, whatever you want to do that, and just participate. You know, some people watch, some people are actually active, but all of those people together make a shared experience, and that's what the EMU is all about.
It all starts at 4 p.m. next Thursday, May 1st. Students can paint anything inside of the orange fence and can swing away at the staircase located across from the Union Market near the Buzz. Julian Massenberg, Oregon News.
Tune in to Oregon News next Friday to see all the sledgehammer swings and the EMU destruction from Thursday's event.
University of Oregon graduate teaching fellows are rallying today on campus fighting for better benefits. Reporter Chelsea Fulmer has more.
Seeking livable wages, major dental coverage, continuous health benefits, and paid leave,
GTFs hope to grab the attention of the U of O. GTFs gathered earlier this week making posters, buttons, and cutting stickers, preparing for the rally taking place in front of Johnson Hall. Through the rally, GTFs seek better contracts through the U of O. Negotiations of contracts have been in place since November, but GTFs have seen little progress from the university. Besides gaining livable wages, calculated through the Financial Aid Office, GTFs are insistent to keep the GTFF Healthcare Trust, which is in jeopardy of being taken out of their contracts.
So we'd like to show to the university that their intractability at the table is an issue, and that they need to come to the table ready to negotiate with us.
Reporting for Oregon News, I'm Chelsea Fulmer.
We will have more on the university decision and the potential GTF strike in the coming weeks. There will be a bargaining meeting today at 3 o'clock. At that time, GTFs expect to hear counteroffers from the university. And Ronald Clark is in the studio standing by with sports.
Coming up, with both Ducks baseball and softball teams take their talent on the road for Pac-12 matchups. And the acrobatic and tumbling team is set to defend its title at the Acrobatic and Tumbling National Championship. We'll have details after the break.
I've got a job to do today.
I've got a job to do today.
Have a good first day at work, Mom.
Your donations to Goodwill fund job training programs right in your community.
Feels good to start fresh, right?
Sure does. And like that, you're a job creator.
Welcome back. I'm Ronald Clark with this week's sports update. The number 7 ranked Ducks will have their hands full this weekend with the top 10 battle against their in-state rival, number 4 Oregon State. The Ducks will be coming into the series riding a 9-game winning streak. Since the University of Oregon reinstated the baseball program in 2009, the home team has won 15 of the 21 Civil War games. Junior pitcher Jake Reed talked about how hard it is to play in Corvallis.
It's the most hostile place I've ever played at in any sport. It's tough, but it's fun. You got to learn to kind of embrace it and just get after it the same as you would here.
The 3-game series begins against the Beavers tonight at 7 p.m. Junior lefty Tommy Thorpe will be on the mound for the Ducks. Moving on to the number 1 softball team in the country, tonight the Ducks will begin a 3-game series against the Stanford Cardinals. The Ducks have now held the number 1 spot for 3 consecutive weeks. A huge part of their success this year has to do with the superb play and leadership of sophomore pitching ace Sheridan Hawkins. Oregon News sports reporter Chris Brooklier has a story on Hawkins stepping into the leadership role.
Sheridan Hawkins has led the Oregon softball program to unseen heights this year, but earlier in the season, she faced something she never would imagine when she sliced her finger open after a pitch.
And there's a huge piece of skin like flailing there, and I was like, oh, this isn't good. So then I went out and tried to pitch, and then I was like, I don't think this is going to happen. And the trainer came out, cut it. I made it through the inning.
Can't see my gash.
Once my adrenaline got going, it wasn't as difficult, because I quit thinking about it. At the start of the game, I'm like, oh, my finger, like this hurts. And then once it started getting the game going, I forgot about it. And then after I looked at it, I'm like, oh, that's still there.
At 19 years old, Hawkins was the youngest to compete on last year's U.S. national team. There, she developed both in her skills and her mentality.
I was the youngest person on that team, so I learned a lot, from those older kids on just even how to mentally prepare and some leadership skills.
Hawkins has already put those skills on display this season as the Ducks' new ace, where she's already picked up 25 wins and 3 Pac-12 Player of the Week awards. For Hawkins, though, it's all about the team.
I just realized my team is more important to me than those things. I start to weigh okay, you had a bad bullpen, that really stinks, but you want to win this game for your team. So what's more important, thinking about the bad bullpen or thinking about the win?
For the first time in the program's history, Oregon is ranked number 1 in the country. And Hawkins has one clear goal in mind for the end of the season.
Obviously, the end goal is we want to win the Pac-12 and we want to win the College World Series. Those are obviously at the top of the list.
Reporting for Oregon News, I'm Chris Brooklier.
You can watch Hawkins and the number 1 ranked Ducks kick off their series against the Cardinals tonight on ESPNU at 7 o'clock. Another number 1 team in Eugene is the acrobatic and tumbling team. The Ducks are in Azusa, California for the acrobatic and tumbling national championships. The championship competition kicked off last night with individual events, which saw the Ducks take home 6 event titles, the most of the night. The quest for their 4th consecutive championship continues with the team matchups tonight. That's all for sports. We now send it to Nick Nathaniels with your weekend forecast. Nick?
Thanks, Ronald. Let's take a look at what we have coming up this weekend. Not the type of weather I'm sure the girls are experiencing down in Azusa. No flips, no turns as far as weather is concerned, just your average clouds and rain. Starting with Eugene, Friday we're looking at high 50s and low 60s with 80% chance of showers throughout the day. Don't be surprised to hear a thunderstorm later this afternoon. Moving into the weekend, more of the same, 90% chance of rain with a low of 42. South to southwest winds about 11 to 14 miles per hour with gusts as high as 23. So it's going to be a great day to go outside. If you like your spring showers, bring that shampoo and don't forget that bar of soap. And Sunday, it's mostly cloudy with a low of 41. Now moving up I-5 north into Portland, no surprises here. It's going to be rain, and you guessed it, more rain. Could be some hail, but it's very unlikely. The Blazers definitely looking to rain in some threes tonight, and fans could be singing in the rain if those Blazers can pull out a W later this evening. Saturday, the rain will subside, only to come back later all the way till the end of the weekend, so expect some showers up until next week. Moving west to the coast, expect similar weather from the Portland metro area. Only difference is here. Winds up, temperatures down. 55 is your high throughout the weekend. 90% chance of precipitation Saturday night, so expect your 3-day dose of rain and showers for the coast up until the start of the weekend where we start to see some clouds. On the Josephine and Douglas counties, chance of storm Friday, high of 57 and a low of 37. Saturday, we see a little bit of rain, winds up to 11 miles per hour. Sunday, more showers, but still potential low of 39. Still chilly, so keep those jackets and heaters at hand. It's not till Monday do we really see the sun rise and clear skies. Finally, to Bend, Friday night, a chance of rain, showers before midnight, then a slight chance of rain and snow showers, mostly cloudy through with a low of 28. Saturday, we get some contrast, but nothing to write home about. The clouds will part for some sunshine, but only with a high in the mid-50s. Closing off the weekend, Sunday is your chance of showers at 50% with cloudy skies. All right, that's your weekend forecast. Take it away, Rick.
Thanks, Nick. Still to come on Oregon News, high school students looking ahead to college will see new questions on an old test. We'll have more on how the Scholastic Aptitude Test is changing.
And the University of Oregon Employment is receiving a national honor for his work. We'll tell you why when we return.
Every day across America, excess food is gathered by a network of good people at local food banks, giving hope to millions of children who struggle with hunger. They've earned their wings, and you can too. Together, we can solve child hunger. Support Feeding America and your local food bank at feedingamerica.org.
Welcome back. The College Board has released more details of its revised SAT. Our reporter Amanda Butt set out to discover how these changes will impact both test takers and college admissions.
Evanescent, florid, vindicate, pretentious. These are all words on the list of College Board's top 100 SAT vocab words. But when College Board changes the format of its SAT in 2016, these obscure words could become a thing of the past. Instead, these words will be replaced by high utility words, words that students see more often that can be used in different contexts. Take this question, for example. It asks what the meaning of intense is in its stated context. Along with different vocab words, students can expect to see an optional 50-minute essay segment and math problems that don't allow the use of a calculator. With these changes on the horizon, 4J teachers plan on preparing their students as soon as they can. Diana Ashley is a counselor on special assignment with the 4J school district. In an email interview, she said, "We will wait for final test information to come out. And in the meantime, we will advise our students and parents that changes are in the works. We will focus on strong college and career readiness curriculum for our students as the best preparation." Christine Brown, an executive director from Kaplan Test Prep, says the changes better fit the skills students need for their future.
What the College Board has said they're trying to do is again measure vocabulary and measure skills that are in line with when you really need to succeed succeed in college? What do you need to be career ready?
Well, thanks for joining us on Oregon News. Have a good weekend.
Thank you.
Stay classy.